Welcome to the next level.
Hey everyone, this is 8-Bit Flashback. And recently I went on the hunt for an Atari 2600. And a couple of my favorite places to look for retro gaming products is at pawn shops and swap meets. But swap meets is my overall favorite for looking for retro gaming products. Most of your vendors at swap meets are willing to wheel and deal with you. They're not just stuck at a fixed price. So usually you can throw an offer at them, and they usually throw a counter offer back, and usually you can meet somewhere in the middle and get a decent price. But not all vendors are willing to wheel and deal. You will run into some that will not adjust the prices at all, and usually those are the ones that have nothing but retro gaming products. They already know what their products are worth, so they're not willing to budge. And some of them are actually overpriced. So what I've found out from past experiences at swap meets is it's usually better to find someone that has just a few retro gaming products and then a lot of other inventory that's not video game related. And they're usually the ones that are willing to wheel and deal with you. The prices vary like crazy. You'll have one vendor asking $125 for an original Nintendo, then another vendor will be asking only $40. They're just all over the place. This guy was asking $40 for his ColecoVision. I should have made an offer and got this thing, but my mind was set on an Atari 2600, and that's what I got, but now I'm regretting I didn't get the ColecoVision too. And I've actually never played a ColecoVision. I had the Atari 2600 back then, but never played one of these. So at some point, I gotta get one of these. This thing is really neat looking. It just reeks of the 80s. And this expansion port here on the front, I'm not sure what this is for, but I'm gonna have to find out. And this same guy also had a version of Pong called Telepong. And this is a pretty neat little console too. Video games used to be so simple. Pong used to be the top dog back in the day. This thing's even battery powered, and I found that pretty interesting. So after roaming around for a few hours, I finally found what I was looking for, the Atari 2600. With a bunch of accessories and games. And his starting price point was $150. But by the time I got done talking to him, we got it all the way down to $75. Then I said, I need to think about it. So I walked around for another hour, came back, and then I got it all the way down to $50. But of course, there's no way to test this console out, but I figured with all the accessories and games included, $50 was still worth it, even if it didn't work. So the Atari mission is accomplished. Now let's see what's in the box. And on top of finding that Atari 2600, I found some old toys from that same era. Any guesses? We'll wait to open those till the end. Alright, we got a Brains game cartridge, an original joystick that seems to be in really good condition, some paddle controllers for Pong or tennis or whatever you want to call it, coaxial cable, oh, here's an AC adapter for the original NES. And I could actually use this. This could come in handy. I'm using the universal one for my NES and it's garbage, so that'll be nice. And here's another paddle controller. This one seems to be a little bit different because it has a logo of driving instead of that tennis logo. So it's more geared for a driving game. And what do we have here? Here is a Super Pong console. And I really don't know much about this thing. I'm gonna have to do some more research on it. But this thing looks super cool. I believe it's from the 70s. And I did have a chance to test this out, and it does work, but the screen is real glitchy. So more than likely, there's probably a couple of capacitors inside this I'm gonna have to replace. Also, this thing can play off of battery power or an AC adapter. All right, what else we got in here? Here's an old style TV connection. This would let you connect your old video game consoles via an RF connection, rabbit ears, or coaxial connection. And here we have another Atari 2600 controller that's in great shape. Same thing with this one. There is a lot of controllers in here. And here's some unique controllers. These are keyboard controllers. And what's cool about these is they actually connect together. I'm not sure what particular games these are designed for, but I'm sure someone out there knows. Alright, what else we got in here? Another set of paddle controllers. I've got so many sets of these, I'm gonna have to sell them or give them away or something. And here is an audio cord. That can come in handy for something. And here's the AC adapter for the Atari. And that Pong console also came with the same exact AC adapter. And here's the Atari 2600 console. And it seems to be in really good shape. It's really dirty, you gotta clean it, but there's no cracks or breaks in it. And I did have a chance to test it. It does work good, but the on-off switch could use a little bit of work. It seems to be really sloppy. Other than that though, it works good. Oh, guess what? Another paddle controller. This one has that driving logo on it though. So here's a different controller. This seems to be some sort of flight stick. And it seems to be pretty good quality. I like this. And out of all these controllers, this one seems to be my favorite by far. This one seems to be built very well. It's called the Point Master, and I really like how it has that fire button on top of the joystick. This is way better than the stock Atari 2600 joysticks. I think it's about time to play some Centipede. And there was actually 2 of these Point Master controllers and 2 flight sticks. It also came with a bunch of different manuals, including instructions for that flight stick that I showed you earlier, registration cards, warranty cards, all kinds of stuff. It even came with some overlays for some special controller that must be huge. There's even a couple comic books included that I thought were game manuals, but when I opened them up I found out they're a comic book. And they both have that DC comic logo on the top, so they must have made quite a few of these. So there's probably at least 50 different manuals in here, but I don't want to bore you to death. Let's move on to the games. So we got Indy 500, Pole Position, which is a pretty good game. The graphics are actually pretty decent considering it's Atari. Combat, Circus Atari, Golf, Video Olympics, Telegames, and Combat, Home Run, Maze Craze, Pac-Man, which was a terrible version, and 27 Telegames. Then we got Sorcerer's Apprentice with Mickey Mouse, Missile Command, I think this is Strawberry Shortcake, I'll have to test it, and Solaris, and this is another game that has pretty good graphics for Atari. Then I have an organizer here in the bottom of the box with a few more games. We've got Alpha Beam with Ernie, and I got another copy of Pac-Man, and here's Vanguard. I've never played this game before, so I'm gonna have to try it out. Asteroids, Surround, kind of like Pong, Space Invaders, pretty much everyone knows what that is. Got another copy of Space Invaders, and here's Night Driver, but there's 2 labels. The top says Night Driver, and this side says 8 Telegames, so I'll have to test it out. And we've got Dodge 'em, it's another racing game, Pitfall, Slot Machine, Yar's Revenge, that's a great game, Breakout, another Pong type game, Cookie Monster Munch, whoops, Centipede, great game, and the label's in really good condition. And last game, Galaxin. Okay, now it's time to open up the mystery toys from the 80s. Let's see if anyone guessed right. Let's see what's in the bag. So when I was walking around, waiting to decide on that Atari, I found these. That's right, He-Man. One of my favorite cartoons when I was a kid, along with Transformers and G.I. Joe. And of course, if I have He-Man, I gotta have Skeletor too. It's been a long time since I've seen these guys, probably over 30 years. So I had to get them just for nostalgic memories. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked that video, please click that like button. And if you want to hear more from me, please subscribe. And if you want to see more of my videos, just click any of these links.